Colby. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make wild rice and ground turkey stuffed peppers. I want to give a small disclaimer. I made the mistake today of getting mood-changing nail polish, so when I touch certain things that are hot or cold, my nail polish changes and it might look a little funky throughout the video. So just want to let you know. But let's get into the ingredients. To start, of course, we're going to need some bell peppers. And I like to cut them this way because then you get like two pieces and I think it just looks prettier. But I understand that this cut might be intimidating to some people, so you can cut it this way as well. And I'll show you an example of that. Next, we're going to need some ground turkey. I think the most important thing health-wise when it comes to buying meat is to make sure that there's no antibiotics and no hormones added, because that is what you're eating. Next we have some minced garlic, and then we have, this is a brown rice medley, and the next thing is some crushed tomatoes. Now at my grocery store they did not have any crushed, so I just bought these whole peeled tomatoes and I crushed them myself with a potato masher. So you could use a fork or whatever you have. And then I have some pretty finely diced onion. This is half an onion. And then a jalapeno de-seeded. This is just half a jalapeno and it's optional. If you don't like spice, then don't add that in there. And then you're gonna need some cheese. You can opt out if you want to be extra healthy, but I got the light Mexican blend. You can also use feta if you think that's a healthier option. And then you're gonna need some olive oil. And I'm actually using garlic olive oil. I thought it would be really good for this recipe. This is a specialty olive oil. And I got it at the farmer's market. If you want to purchase this, you can go to miamioliveoil.com. So those are your ingredients. What we're doing now is we're blanching our peppers. If you don't know what blanching is, it's lightly cooking a vegetable in boiling water for about 30 seconds to a minute. And like I said, this is going to lightly cook our vegetable. It's also going to make the colors more vibrant. So I'm gonna put these peppers into the boiling water for about 30, 45 seconds, and then I'm going to take them out. And what I'm doing over here is I'm cooking my rice. And if you don't know how to cook rice in a pot, it's 2 parts water for 1 part rice. So I cooked 1 cup of rice. So I started by boiling 2 cups of water, and then I added my rice and I reduced it to a simmer and covered it. And when you're cooking wild rice or brown rice, it's gonna take longer than white rice. For example, this rice took 35 minutes to cook, and white rice would normally take 20 to 25 minutes to cook. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. There's no more water in the pan, and I can lightly fluff it with my spatula here. Perfectly cooked. So what I'm doing now is sauteing my ground turkey. I heated my pan to medium-high, more on the high side when I first put it in. And I added about a tablespoon of olive oil. And I'm just going to cook this until it is no longer pink. But while it's cooking, I'm gonna season it. So we're gonna start out, of course, with some salt. Very important. Not too much. I'm gonna add a little bit of Italian seasoning. There are a lot of different ways you can make this dish. You can make it Italian or more on the Spanish side, but I'm choosing to go with Italian seasoning. I'm adding some ground black pepper, and then I'm gonna add a little garlic salt. Normally I would just use garlic powder, but I'm out. So garlic salt it is. That's why I went a little light on the regular salt. Now that the turkey is fully cooked and strained, I actually didn't need to strain this turkey because it's a lean turkey, but if you have a more fatty turkey, you're gonna need to strain all the oil, fat out of the turkey once it's done cooking. So now for the veggies, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of olive oil to my already heated pan because we're just cooking the turkey in there. You can tell it's hot when it runs really quickly and it's not as thick. So that is plenty hot and ready for our veggies to go in. I'm gonna add my onions first. And that's the sound you wanna hear when you're sauteing anything. You want that sizzle. And then I'm gonna add in my jalapenos as well. Like I said, this part's optional. I like spice, so I'm doing it this way. And I'm gonna add a little salt to that. The last thing that we're gonna add in is the minced garlic, but garlic burns very quickly. So we're gonna add that in about 30 seconds before the veggies are done. No sooner than that or it will burn, and when garlic burns, it tastes bitter. We don't want that. You're gonna cook your onions until they're about translucent, just as they are now. And that's when I'm gonna add in my garlic. And then we're just gonna mix this together and saute it for 30 seconds. Now we're gonna start stuffing our peppers. What I've done is I've put my ground turkey, sauteed veggies, and the cooked rice into this bowl. I'm gonna add in the crushed tomatoes. I'm not gonna use this whole amount. It's a little bit too much. Probably use about 1/2 to 3/4. That's good. Now I'm gonna mix this all together and make sure it's really well mixed. You can mix this with your hands, but it's really hot right now, so I'm not gonna be doing that. Now I have my oven preheated to 350, and I'm going to be baking these in a dish like this. You can do it on a cookie sheet, a sheet pan, but I prefer to keep them in here because it's easier to keep them balanced and upright, in my opinion. So I'm gonna start stuffing my peppers, and as you can tell, they're a little bit soft from blanching. I'm just gonna use a spoon and fill these up. And make sure they're nice and compact so we can get as much of the filling in there as we can. And it should look just like that. Now that all of my peppers are stuffed, I'm going to top them with the cheese. Here's an idea of what they should look like in the dish. As you can tell, it's easier when you use a dish like this because you're able to kind of lean some of them up against the edges if they don't stand upright on their own. And I'm just gonna top these with as much cheese as I want. This is the unhealthy part, so it's totally up to you. But I love cheese and I do not feel that bad about it, so I'm gonna put a good amount on there. Now that I have topped these with cheese, I'm going to place them into my, like I said, 350-degree preheated oven for about 10 to 12 minutes on this top rack. And I'm just gonna check them periodically to make sure that the cheese is melted and bubbly, and that's when we know that they're done. A really good tip with this, if you want the cheese to get super bubbly and a little brown and golden on top, for the last minute or so, we're gonna put it on broil. And that's going to make the oven super hot so that our cheese melts perfectly and gets nice and brown and bubbly. Now that we have our finished results, I took these out of the oven. As you can tell, the cheese has gotten nice and browned, got a little crispy, which is awesome. I'm gonna give it a taste test and see how these turned out. I know this is gonna be super hot because it just came out of the oven. And that's a big bite. It's delicious. And it's healthy, so win-win. Let me know if you make this recipe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe down below, and thank you for watching.